Ancient city of Aspendos and ancient city of Samarkand. Aspendos is an ancient city in the southern part of Turkey, located 35 kilometers from Antalya, 7 kilometers northeast of the city of Serik. History. According to legends, Aspendos appeared in the 10th century BC after the completion of the Trojan War. It was founded by the Samarkand. For many years, it was a part of Lycia and the Persians at the Athenian Maritime Union. In the 4th century BC, it passed into the position of Alexander the Great. In order to avoid raids from the sea, the city was built 16 kilometers from the seashore. It was part of Lycia, Persian, and the Athenian Maritime Union. It was conquered by the Romans 2,200 years ago, and its economic and cultural flourishing begins from the time. During this period, it even became one of the 3 largest cities in Pamphylia. Aspendos was a large trading port and sold corn, jewelry, and wine. Its power continued until the 7th century AD, after which it began to deflate. It was especially difficult for him after the raids of the Seljuks in the 13th century, having excited at least for a couple of centuries. It was forgotten until 1871, when it was discovered during one of the trips by the Count of Lanscully. Currently, there is only a small village nearby. Everything is quiet and little deserted. It is even difficult to imagine that life was boiling here earlier. The majestic ancient buildings today are admired by many lovers of antiquity, and the natural landscapes surrounding Aspendos are pleasing to the eye, originally merging with the ancient architecture. Attractions. One of the main attractions of Aspendos is the well-preserved Roman amphitheater. It has 39 rows of steps, 96 meters long, and the distance between them is half a meter. At one time, it could accommodate 10,000 people at a time, so it is considered one of the largest ancient theaters. The theater was built in 155 by the Greek architect Zeno during the reign of Marcus Aurelius. In the 8th century, the stage was rebuilt by the Seljuks into a place. Curiously, until 2008, it was active and numerous concerts and shows were held here. But after that, it was decided to build a new theater where all the shows have now been moved. They are often part of the excursion program. Walking a little to the north, you will find a racetrack which is also still in good condition. The ruins of the basilica and the agora are also preserved. The ruins of the Roman aqueduct, which stretches for 20 kilometers, are 1 kilometer away. In ancient times, it supplied the city with water. To this day, it is the largest in Turkey. A little to the north, there is a necropolis where you can see tombs and sarcophagi carved out of stone. Since the time of the Seljuks, the bridge of the 8th century, built on the basis of a bridge of the Roman period, has been perfectly preserved. And the ancient city of Samarkand. Everything I have heard about Samarkand is true, absolutely everything, except for one thing. It turned out to be more beautiful than I could have imagined. Alexander the Great. Dear friends, how many countries have you managed to visit? And how many cities? Surely most people dream of visiting such ancient city as Athens, Rome, Paris, Baghdad. What about Samarkand? Samarkand is one of the most ancient cities on the planet, the same age as Rome and Athens. It is more than 2,750 years old. Samarkand is one of the most beautiful and mysterious cities in Uzbekistan. It occupies the second largest place in the country. It is one of the oldest cities in the world, the central point of the Great Silk Road between China and Europe. Samarkand has always been distinguished by the fact that it was a true example of real Oriental hospitality. Several nationalities have always easily got along here. Samarkand is commonly called Eastern Babylon. According to an ancient legend, when the city of Samarkand was founded, 8th century BC, a leopard descended from the Zarafshan mountains and approved the construction of the city. Since then, the residents of Samarkand associate themselves with the leopard. They are just proud, just as resolutely brave, and just as generous. The name Samarkand goes back to the Sogdian Samarkand, which means stone fort or stone city in the ancient era. Samarkand was the capital of the oldest state of Sogdiana and was called Afrasiab among the ancient Greeks and in Rome. The city was known as Marakanda at the time of the campaign of Alexander the Great. Even then, Samarkand was a well-equipped and well-developed city. In the early Middle Ages, Samarkand was part of the Turkic Khanate. In 712, the city was subdued by the Arabs led by Qutayba ibn Muslim and became the center of Transaxiana and Greater Khorasan. In the 9th century, Samarkand was part of the Samanid state, and at the end of the 10th century, it became part of the Karahanid state. At that time, grandiose architectural structures were built in Samarkand, most of which unfortunately were destroyed by Genghis Khan. Then Samarkand became part of the Kharazm Shah state, which was crushed as a result of the Mongol invasion. When Amir Temur came to power, Samarkand was greatly transformed. The city became the capital again. The restoration of destroyed buildings was started, and Samarkand regained its former greatness. During the region of the Timurids, Samarkand was actively developing scientists and artists from all over the world. So to get here, all conditions for the development of science, education, and culture were created in the city. In the 16th century, after Timurids, the Shaybanid dynasty came and the city entered the Bukhara Khanate. Since the 18th century, Samarkand was under rule of the Ashtar Khanites, and the Bukhara Khanate was transformed into the Emirate of Bukhara. Due to prolonged civil strife, Samarkand fell into an economic crisis. The first attempts to revive the city were made by the Mangid Santi, and in the middle of the 18th century. Samarkand residents are talented craftsmen. For many centuries, they have surprised neighboring peoples with their crafts skills and creativity. Samarkand is called a priceless treasury of the culture of the peoples of Central Asia. The great monuments of medieval architecture have been preserved here. Architectural forms and paintings of incredible beauty, and each of them deserves special attention. But as Fred Barner said, it is better to see once than to hear 100 times. Therefore, welcome to Samarkand, Pearl of the East and the Garden of the Soul. Laser shows are here held several times a month on Registan Square. Thank you for listening.
How are you?